Hello, you are welcome to this class. In today's class, we are going to talk about phrase. A phrase in English language is a grammatical unit that consists of two or more words which must not contain a subject and a verb together. In other words, a phrase is a group of words that form a grammatical unit but lacks a subject or a verb or both. When we discussed clause, we said that a clause contains a subject and a verb. For a phrase may contain either a subject or it may contain a verb, but it cannot contain two of them together. Sometimes a phrase does not contain either of them. That means that a phrase may not contain a subject and may not also have a verb. So that is what we call a phrase in English language. A grammatical unit that consists of two or more words without having a verb and a subject together in the words. We have five types of phrases. We have a noun phrase, we have a verb phrase, we have adjective phrase, we have adverb phrase, and we have prepositional phrase types. 1. Noun phrase. 2. We have verb phrase. 3. We have adjective phrase. 4. We have adverb phrase. 5. We have prepositional phrase. Now for noun phrase, what is a noun phrase? A noun phrase is a group of words that are built around a noun without a verb. Noun phrase. When we have a group of words that are built around a noun and which lacks a verb, we call it a noun phrase. A noun phrase is usually a noun, its article, and or adjective. A noun phrase is usually a noun with its article and or adjective. For instance, the red ball. This is an article, the. This is an adjective, why this is the noun. The whole of these words are built around the noun ball. So when we have group of words that are built around a noun which are usually an article, an adjective, and the noun. We call it a noun phrase. The red ball, the blue biro, the blue biro, a red or a white sandal, a white sandal. This is an article A, this is an article, this is an adjective, this is an adjective, and this is the noun, this is the noun. Sometimes we may not have the article. If you have red ball, it is still a noun phrase. So we can have the adjective and the subject or the noun. We call it a noun phrase. An adjective and a noun forms a noun phrase. Then an article and a noun also forms a noun phrase. If you remove red, you can say the ball. It is still a noun phrase. If you have an article and a noun, it forms a noun phrase. If you have an adjective and a noun, it forms a noun phrase. Then verb phrase. Verb phrase. A verb phrase is usually a verb and its mothers. A verb and its mothers, which always includes its auxiliaries, that is auxiliary verbs. For instance, when we have been walking, have been walking, this is a verb phrase. It contains a verb, walking, with the verb auxiliary and modal. Have been walking. Even if we have been, it is still a verb phrase. So a verb phrase simply means a cluster of verbs. That is a group of verbs. No matter the type of verb, when different verbs come together to form a cluster or a group, we call it a verb phrase. One important thing here is that the verb phrase must not contain a subject. The verb phrase must not contain a subject. Once you introduce a subject to a verb phrase, it becomes a clause. And once you introduce a verb to a noun phrase, it becomes a clause. So in a noun phrase, you must not introduce a verb to it. And in a verb phrase, you must not introduce a noun to it. Then the next one is adjective phrase. Adjective phrase. An adjective phrase is usually an adjective with words that are built around it. An adjective and a word or words that are built around it. For instance, when we have very fat, very fat, this is an adjective phrase. The adjective is fast, facts, and this theory is built around it. If we introduce a noun after an adjective phrase, it becomes a noun phrase. We should not put a noun after an adjective phrase. That will make it a noun phrase, because once we introduce a noun to it, the noun become the noun will become the main word in a group of words. Like if we say very fat girl, the girl here will become the main word in this group of words or in this cluster. And because a noun has become the main word in this cluster, it has become a noun phrase. So in adjective phrase, we should not put a noun after it. Very fat, very slim, so short, so short, so short. This is an adjective phrase. When we have an adjective and a word or words around it which must not contain a noun, we call it an adjective phrase. Then adverb phrase. Adverb phrase. An adverb phrase is when we have an adverb and a word or words around it. When we have an adverb and a word or words around it, that is an adverb with words that are built around it. For instance, very softly, very softly, so gently. This is an adverb, and so is a word built around it. Softly is an adverb, and very is a word built around it. So this is an adverb phrase, and this one is also an adverb phrase. Then we have prepositional phrase. Prepositional phrase. A prepositional phrase is a preposition and its objects. Note this, a prepositional phrase always contains a noun, but the noun must be in form of an object. A prepositional phrase is a preposition and its objects. For instance, behind the door, behind the door, below the table, on the bed, on the bed. This is a preposition, behind. Now this is the objects. This is a preposition, below, and this is its objects. On is a preposition here, and this is its objects. So when we have a cluster of words consisting of a preposition and a noun acting as an object to the preposition, we call it a prepositional phrase. So these are the 5 types of of phrase: the noun phrase, the verb phrase, the adjective phrase, the adverb phrase, and prepositional phrase. And I've also told you that the difference between a phrase and a clause is that a phrase cannot contain both a subject and a verb together, while a clause must have a subject and a verb together. Some phrases contain a verb, while others contain a subject, while some other phrases do not contain both subject, both subject and verb.